Hey guys, it's Morgan in Maine. I wanted to create an indoor water garden. I had this concrete planter that I wasn't using. Well, I had a plant in it, but it wasn't the right size plant, so I took that plant out. My dad actually bought this for me. So I had this around the house. I wasn't really utilizing it. And my dad also gave me this enamel basin that used to belong to my grandmother. I've been holding on to it for a long time, trying to figure out what I want to do with it. Originally I had it out in the garden, but it's so beautiful and it's vintage, and I just wanted to put it in my house somewhere. So this is our indoor water garden, and it actually acts as the cat's water bowl too. The cool thing about it is that we got rid of the ugly thing that we were using for the cat's running water before. It wasn't very attractive looking, and it constantly needed filter changing. But because we have plants in here, we don't constantly need to change the filter because the plants actually filter out the water themselves. So it worked out. I also have these really cool rocks just chilling in my house. They were in a cabinet kind of tucked away, so we added those in. And I had this Buddha water fountain that I got online on sale. It was, I think I paid like $25 for it. It kept getting clogged because the tube inside gets like algae and junk in there. So I also had this kind of tucked away, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and I tried to clean out the tube, and I ended up accidentally kind of messing up the flow. See how it's like flowing really strongly? So I couldn't actually use this by itself because the water was coming out too quickly, and it was splashing all over the place, and then I would have to keep replacing the water in it, and it was just making a mess everywhere. So I held on to it because I was like, you know what, eventually I'll use it. And I am. I'm using it now in my indoor water garden, so it's awesome. I don't actually mind the sound of the running water. It's kind of nice, and it helps the cats realize, hey, there's water over here, I'm gonna drink it. And then I also had this plant. This was the plant that was in the elephant planter that it just wasn't fitting properly. It's not a water plant, so if you want to add plants that aren't water plants, you could put them in clear jars like I did. And then that will help it stay healthy. Otherwise the roots will rot and it will all die. And then, so everything that you're seeing here, I had at my house, except for these water plants. So we went to our local, it's called Brooks Feed and Farm. They have all kinds of stuff there. Fish, animals, food, I don't know, everything. Water plants. So we got a couple of water plants. This is called water lettuce. It's more of a pond plant, but we figured we would just put it in there. This one is called bananas. You could see this like crazy bunch of banana looking things at the bottom. This is a water hyacinth. This is also a pond plant. These will not overwinter if it gets too cold. So I put these outside during the summer in my pond, and sometimes if I'm feeling, I don't know, up to it, I'll bring them in and I'll try to overwinter them. They're really beautiful though. You can see the roots are purple. These multiply like crazy if you have them in a sunny spot, and then they flower. They have a really pretty purple flower. But they won't overwinter, so if you want to bring them inside, if you truly want to make them last, you really should have grow lights and all this other crazy stuff. I just bring them in and hope that they'll last over the winter. But anyways, I know this is a pond plant, but it just looks so cool. So we're like, we'll just throw it in our water garden and keep it in there for a little while and see what happens. And then I can't remember the name of this one, but it's really pretty because it's purple and green and just kind of like wild looking. So we threw that in there too. So all together, we were able to put this whole thing together for only the cost of the pond plants, which was like $12 for 4 plants. So, you know, sometimes you have stuff around the house and you're not really using it for something, you know you like it, but you don't have a purpose for it. So you can get creative like we did, and now we have our own indoor water garden, which is also the cat water source. And FYI, cats are less apt to drink water next to their food dishes. I just discovered this because it's a natural instinct for them not to want to drink their water if it's next to their food, because it can cause kidney disease. So their natural instinct makes them not want to drink water that's next to their food. So we don't have a water bowl next to their food. They only have this water source. But I've seen all of my cats drink from it, and we put it up yesterday. So they're used to it. They like it. They're getting the filtered water from the plants. And now we don't have an ugly cat water dish thing. And we have a pretty indoor water garden. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment below.